For those who are not familiar with fronto-temporal dementia, it is where the front and the sides of the brain are starting to diminish in capacity, but also not only reducing capacity, but also the cells are dying. And as a consequence, this affects the ability to recall speech or words, the ability to complete executive function. So let me give you an example of what that would be. In years gone by, if I wanted to add some numbers together, then I could do that without difficulty. So let's take, for example, I have two numbers that I wish to add together, and then I have another two numbers that I wish to add together, and then add both of those two sets together. Now I struggle to actually compute the first calculation. Let's say 3 plus 4 is 7. I have difficulty remembering the 7 when I go off to do another calculation. Let's say 3 times 3, which is 9. Now I have to think hard just with this simple sum to take the 7 and the 9 to make 16. Now that is the length of time that it takes me to process a calculation like that. Whereas before, I could actually do it very rapidly and without consciously thinking about it. But with the impaired judgment and the impact on the executive function of the brain, it makes these things difficult. So the working memory is impacted. But then on the other hand, there's a benefit. Because whilst this, some might regard as being the logical side of the brain, is diminishing and deteriorating, things are opened up on the other side of the brain. So rhythm, music, these things become increasingly fluid, and it enables us to speak in a way that is more rhythmic, if I can put it that way. But also what it does, it releases an area of the brain that when we were younger was trained to lock things away that shouldn't be said, and things that shouldn't be shouldn't be said, or things that people might regard as being crude. So things of a sexual nature, things of language, swear words and things of that nature, crudities, people just say, Peter, why are you saying that now? In the past, you would never have said that. But there's this disinhibition, which some regard as being inexplicable and just downright rude. But for me, it's a liberty and a freedom that I didn't enjoy before with that side of the mind. That's the way that it feels anyway, even though others' perception might be that it's inappropriate behavior. And what that causes is that if we go out for a meal, the good lady, she'll say, Peter, be quiet. Not everybody wants to hear you. Or you can't say that, that's not nice. But then I just say, well, it's true. There's someone there who's got some strange thing to be commented on. I will comment on it. And it doesn't faze me, but others around are embarrassed. Some people don't like eating with me in public because of this challenge that I have. Or they'll take me to a quiet area of the restaurant so that they can protect others from hearing my indiscretions. But fine, I'm happy in myself, but they might be embarrassed by me. Don't be embarrassed, it's just who I am. It's the unvarnished Peter that you're now seeing. It's Peter in a different way, but it's still Peter. So that's really what the challenge is with the fronto-temporal dementia for me. Some people think that dementia is memory problems, it's incontinence, it's this and that and the other. It takes many forms. But frontotemporal dementia, it will eventually, but doesn't always impact on the memory in exactly the same way as other forms of dementia. It's the working memory that it will impact. So the very short-term memory up in the head, like for example that calculation, that's when you are impacted. Or if you are actually trying to remember something, but then also remember something else further along, and then try and recall the first one. What will normally happen is the first one will be remembered and the second one will be forgotten. These are the sorts of things that I'm talking about with frontotemporal dementia.